This true story I'm going to read is called the 2010 Unreported High-Speed Chase. It was around the beginning of 2010. I was visiting my cousin in South Modesto like I had usually. We're at the beginning of where the new houses start on Marin Avenue. It was just right across from the ghetto. We're posted up chilling in his mom's black Hyundai car. I was in the back seat and I was telling him, we shouldn't be out because in the area it was very hot and bodies were being left all over the place, and there is now a gang injunction in effect in the area. He then told me, here, calm down. Here's this iPod, go listen to it. After that, he handed the iPod into the, back seat where I was, and grabbed it, quickly exited the car. I was now leaned against the car. I put the headphones in. After that, I turned the iPod on, and I put on some Woody or some Homeboy rap, and I was just, slapping it with one in, one out. I was alert, looking in every direction like always. And a few minutes later, to the right, I seen a cop creeping down U-Stick. Then told my cousin, hey, cops right there, dude. He's like, oh shit, get in the car. After that, I quickly got in the backseat of the car and he began driving. The cop then made a left on Marin Avenue, and it was like a distance away from us because it was still driving, and he's like, oh man. So hopefully they don't freaking put the, blurp us, pull us over. Because he's telling me, if they do, we're going to bust the high speed. And told him, okay. Then we're just driving down Marin. All of a sudden, the cop puts its lights on, and my cousin's like, shit. So I get ready. I put my seatbelt on, and then he asked me, you could get out if you want. Just go to my house. I was like, no, I'm going to stay in here. If I would have walked to his house, I could have, risked getting shot up or something, because it was pretty hot out. It was, it was the ghetto. So after that, we continued driving down Marin. The cop had his lights on. He was now behind us. A little bit later, a few seconds later, then made a right onto Dallas. Continued down that, and we're now hitting around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Continued down that. After that, we made a right onto Whitmore. The cop was right on our tail. We could hear helicopters now. It sounded like a lot were, behind us. And to our left was the orchards, and then a little further was a dry grass field. And to our right was the brick wall that surrounded the entire neighborhood. Around a minute later, he was now about to make a right onto U-Stick, but then this old work truck, then was in the turning lane also, so my cousin then slammed on his brakes so he wouldn't hit that truck. And after that, one of the cop cars hit the back of the car. After that, I could feel the car shake. Then looked to my right, and I could see lights flashing. We're now surrounded by around 20 narc and cop cars. The cops quickly got out of their vehicles with their guns drawn, and the cop was now yelling, don't move or I'll blow your fucking brains out. And then they are now opening the driver's side of the car. They were pulling my cousin out. They then tossed him to the floor, and I heard him let out a yell, ah! They were now telling him, stop resisting, stop resisting. And he was yelling. They had their foot on the back of his neck, and he wasn't resisting at all. After that, the cops then opened the back seat. They then told me to crawl out. After that, I unbuckled myself, and I was now crawling out of the back seat of the black Hyundai car with the gun in front of my face. Once I got to the end, one of the cops then grabbed me and tossed me on the street on top of my cousin. When I landed, my chin smacked on the street. Now it's now my cousin in a cross position. Immediately after I hit the road, the cop then put his foot on the back of my neck and was yelling, stop resisting, but I wasn't resisting at all. I was now going, because it was hurting real bad. Had felt like they were trying to break my neck. The cop was yelling, stop resisting to me. And I was staying completely still, and they were just pulling my arms back and had their foot on my neck. My cousin was looking at me now, telling me to stay still. I was, I was telling him I am, and I was looking at him. So I just stay still. I told him I am. And then finally the cop put the handcuffs on me and then got me up after a little bit. Yeah, after that, the cops rolled us over on our sides. I was on my right side, and the cop was checking, our pockets. They first asked us if we had any needles, and of course we didn't have any. We told them no. Then after that, the cops lifted us slowly off the ground. Then they were telling us why didn't we stop. I was telling my cousin didn't want to get the car taken away. My cousin was telling me I had nothing to do with it. It was all on him. And then after that, the cops asked us. The cops were looking at each other and talking. And then after that, they asked us, "How old are you guys?" My cousin then told him he was 15 years old, and I then told him I was 17. The cops then said, "Oh man, we're sorry. We're sorry about everything." And then after that, the cops told us that they thought we were the suspects of a 2009 homicide of my cousin's friend that happened in the area. And after that, they just, told us, we should have stopped. And that, and then they were asking me, where do I live? And I was telling them in Houston, and I was visiting my cousin. And they were just, questioning us. Then eventually the cops like, "We're gonna have to take your pictures." I asked them why. He's like, "In case we need them for later on." After that, the cop went and grabbed his camera, took our photos, both of us. And the cop was asking me, if I was okay. And I was telling him, I don't know, my neck hurts. And then, my chin was bleeding and my face was scraped up. And then my left dicky, the double knee part had a rip in it. My Ray Cortez's had a scratch in it. So I was pretty pissed off. Yeah, whatchamacallit, after that, they then called, once they were done talking to us and stuff, they then called his parents to come pick us up in the car. And like a few minutes later, they came. The cops then handed me back the stuff, and the cops, when he was handing me back the belongings, he then told me, that condom's not going to be able to get used no more because it was kind of smashed. And my cousin got his belongings. The condom wasn't even mine, but yeah, they handed me it. After that, we quickly got into, my cousin got into the truck of his dad's. His mom, got into her black Hyundai car and drove it home. We then headed up Whitmore, then a right onto U-Stick. And then on our left side, we're now passing the ghetto. We passed Modoc, we passed up the alleys. Then on our left, we then made a left onto Marin. No sidewalks, just, old dusty streets. A little bit later, we arrived at his house. His dad parked the truck on the outside by the mailbox. His mom parked the car inside. For that, we headed inside, and I was now sitting on the couch. And then the cops came in. After that, they went to the right, and then they made a left into his room, and then some of the cops made a right into his parents' room for the probation search. A few minutes after that, they quickly left because they didn't find shit. Then my cousin's parents went to go look in the room, and all their boxes were cut open. And they were pretty mad, unopened stuff that they had packaged, brand new, was cut. So yeah, his parents were telling me they didn't want me back around the house, so I wasn't gonna be allowed over for a while. My cousin didn't really get in trouble though. And eventually after that, his dad gave me a ride home back to Houston, where I live. I lived in Houston because my parents didn't want me to die, so they moved me from South Modesto to Houston at the time. Yeah, this story will be a picture book someday. I know I probably missed a few details, but read the written version of this. I'll post the written version also. Alright, well, peace.